Today we are looking at the Neewer F700U. It costs a little bit more than the usual budget monitor that we feature on the channel, but there are two good reasons why I think it's worth looking at. One of them is hopefully being demonstrated from the get-go in this little clip being shot in unpredictable, very bright conditions. Yeah, how is it faring? Anyway, let's look at this thing up close in the studio and see what you get for those extra pennies. Let's crack on. Okay, we've got a bit going on here. Oops. All that for an instruction manual and well, your documents. I mean, it's nice. A bit more professional than we used to. Cool. Two fat batteries, Sony MPF batteries. 750 batteries, USB-C chargeable, very cool. So there's two of them. Check this out. There's the number if you need to know. All metal, fully adjustable. Guess that's got to be angle. Yeah, nice. At least that bit's rubber to protect. That is really well designed, I gotta be honest. Good old lens cloth, cool. And in this little box, I assume, let's get that out of the way. This should be the cableage. All the HDMI cables you can imagine, 3 different kinds. USB-C cable and more USB-C cables for the batteries, I assume, and then some other stuff and a piece of tape. And the main event, the 7-inch OLED touchscreen, all metal, feels nice to be fair. Buttons feel rather nice. We've got SD card slot. Let's just quickly pop a battery in. I believe it will power off one or the two. There we go. Let's see. There's already a little light on the top. So it's a 19 by 20 HD 7-inch screen. It will accept a 4K 60p signal. Neewer. Right. Where are you? Yes, HDMI. Bit of an interesting startup time there. But there we go. Everything's in. Volume from the top, not from the bottom. Let's get that back. It seems, there we go. It's back. I think it's more in the center. And on this side, yeah, the brightness. Let's pop it all the way up. If I swipe across, nothing. But then, whoops, swipe from the bottom, and that's where we get peaking, histograms, brightness, RGB off, audio meters, there we go, on, vector scope there, and waveforms there, and all on and off. Cool. Right, let's see. If we press the buttons on the top, there's a back button, there's a menu button here, which brings me back to that. Plus, minus, so we can move around it there. On this side, F1, F2 and F needs program. Let's double click. Exposure, assist, zebra, waveform, vector, all waves, HDR. Now let's have a look at this false color. Okay, cool. Zebras. Actually, let's turn false color off. Zebras. Touchscreen is very responsive, super clear as well. I'm looking at it from below now, and there is a spotlight at the top, lighting up the scene a little bit, and I can see everything so clear, which honestly is the point of this thing. Position, so we can move that around like that. I wanted to see if you could just move it around with your finger, but it's like that. Now, how do we get back to there? False color, close, peaking off, Focus composition, beautiful. Peaking, center mark, fully featured as you'd expect. Audio meters, it is what it is. Look configurations, so we can load them up. System apparently has some, anyway, a Sony custom. Display settings, aspect ratio, right, cool. So that's what we've got. Not bad, not missing anything for me. Flips are nice, zooms, cool. That was supposed to be in focus. I think it's gone out of focus again. Anyway, let's check the focus thing. Peaking, yellow. Well, it's focused on the eyes apparently, so that's fine. Perfect. Where were we? Display settings, pixel to pixel, open, close, scan mode, freeze, battery and fan. Now, I've got it on auto, and can't hear a sausage from it. I suppose you've got to really put it under stress for a bit. Double click again. Where was it? Battery and fan. Yeah, leave it on that. If there's anything to report, I will later on. Anamorphics. Really love the anamorphics, but this is not a anamorphic lens day. Menu configurations, there's your language, duration. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, as you see, I've dropped the sharpness to 0. It's a little bit over sharpened out of the box, but that's fine. Color temperature, let's flick that over to 56. That is rather warm now, but it is what it is. It's warmer than it is. Anyway, let's go back to that, because that 65 is closer to what it looks like to my eye, even though the light is set at 5600. That's interesting. Backlight, high, auto. Custom seems to be moving itself down. What is... oh, it's measuring. Where are you going? Put it on auto and it drops itself all the way down. So we don't want that. Backlight, let's go back to high for the crack. Sound, yep, simple, hotkey define. Okay, so that's what we can do with the F buttons. Sweet, that is very nice. Update via SD, it's got to be a 32 gig, I believe, for the system. It's a bit of a bugbear for the modern day world, but there we go. And that is the status. I think that is all pretty sweet. That didn't stay on for very long, did it? But I believe that's because of something in here where you can set it, display setting. Something in here. I'll find it. Anyway, cool. I am rather happy. It's very simple. I don't think there's anything hidden. No, nothing hidden. Can you? Yep, you can zoom in. Honestly, zoom in. And the eye looks a bit... let's fiddle with the lens. It's not like your smartphone screen, as you probably expected, but can I get back to the full with a double? No. It's all right, that. I don't mind that at all. Cool. I think if we hit display on here, there we go. We're back. Right. All is nice. Is the shutdown as slow as the startup? No, it's a bit better. Cool. The results are in. I love the OLED screen. The contrast is so much better than the monitors we usually look at, and the colors are nice and deep. It's very usable in bright sunlight, as you might have gathered from the intro, even given that it doesn't come with a hood of any kind. Now, having both HDMI and SDI and being able to switch between them easily is excellent. I love the power options. It's simple, very practical, using the batteries, DC pass-through, USB-C. I love it all. Finally, I've had no issues with overheating. And the internal fan, still can't hear it, doesn't get in the way of my shooting, especially this UK summer, which it has got rather warm. Now, as much as I enjoyed testing this monitor, there are a few things to note. Obviously, it's not the kind of monitor you want a handheld all day, especially on a gimbal setup. You do need to tweak the image settings at first as well. That's easy enough. I'd recommend cutting off the sharpness, and others have mentioned that too, so I know it's not just me going crazy. Also, I wish the audio meters could be moved around the screen instead of being locked to the bottom corner. Finally, while the touchscreen is pretty responsive and the buttons work well, I think we could do with a physical lock switch. The monitor is currently going for £349 at the time of recording, if I remember correctly, and I'd say it's basically worth it if you need dual inputs, the beautiful OLED screen, and you're going to be using it out and about. I'd spend less if I was only planning to use the monitor indoors though, and possibly the standard F700 would do the job. I haven't tried it, but it seems to be basically this minus the OLED and the dual inputs. Yeah, so I love it. It's good. And I'm glad we took a look at this monitor. It's been a while since we bothered looking at any monitors, because in the sort of budget that we're looking at, they're all maybe a bit of a muchness, but yeah, F700U, real nice. Over to you. Let us know what you think if you've tried it, or if you think there's anything else that budget monitors should be doing. Yeah, let's get these companies to move on. I mean, to progress. It's one of those days.